Right. So let's talk about for the consultant and firm owner who's listening to this right now, who may or may not have a vision right now to sell their business. What should they be thinking about? What are some ways? Because I know this is a big part of the work that you do with your clients when it comes to increasing the value of a company. So for those listening
Yeah.
right now, what are some of the go-to opportunities and areas that you will look at or often recommend to your clients as a way to increase the value of their company and operations?
Yeah. So the first thing I recommend is understand what your current value of your business is, right? So in whatever means that you can do that, hire a third party, go to somebody who knows how to do this, but get a line in the sand and understand what the value of your business is today and what the key value drivers of your business are. What are the things that increase or decrease value in the business? And there are some basic value drivers that cut across all sorts of businesses. And then there might be some specific ones to your business that you'll need to understand. So I can speak to the generic ones,
Yeah,
not
give us some
having
examples.
a
That would be
sample.
great to make it more tangible for everyone.
Yeah. So, some examples are one, how involved are you in the business? So do you have a self-managing business? Or are you so involved in the business and are decisions and processes reliant on you and your involvement? And this is a spectrum, right, of value. So the less you are involved in the day-to-day operations of the business, the more valuable your business is. And the reason for that is when you do decide to go to market and sell it, if a new buyer comes in, there's less risk for them when they take over that business. You're not controlling any really day-to-day pieces of that business. And so they've got a tremendous amount of comfort that when they take over, operations are going to continue with or without you.
Right.
If my litmus test on that is you as an owner can go away for 2, 3, 4 weeks and the business still operates, you have a self-managing business. You've increased the value.
Mm.
Recurring revenues. To the extent that you can build a recurring revenue stream into your business, the value of your business is going to go up dramatically. A lot of people think they can't do that, that they're going to have challenges. I would encourage you to pull together some people that you really trusted advisors or a consultant like yourself, and brainstorm ways that you can incorporate recurring revenues into your business model. Things like companies like HVAC companies, heating and ventilation companies, they've been able to do it through service contracts.
Right.
Who
Sure.
would have ever thought they could build a recurring revenue stream, right? An HVAC business. But lo and behold, they came up with service contracts. It's repeatable revenue. And, now you just grow it larger and larger every year. Vendor concentrations and client concentrations are another good example. If you have one client that represents 20% or more of your revenues, there's some significant risk there. And
Mm.
so to the extent you do have clients that represent that much of your revenue, you want to work hard to mitigate that and bring that down. And to me, the gold standard is no one client represents more than 5% of your revenues. And what that means is, if you lose a client, it's not going to be a house of cards. It's not going to bring your business down. And so working hard to have a lot of clients and no one client representing more than 5 to 10% is a great starting point. Vendor concentrations run across the same thing. The more reliant you are on one vendor, the more risk there is in the business.
Right.
And when it does come time to sell the business, buyers are going to look at all of these things.
And what are we talking about, Dominic, in terms of the multiple? So let's just take a very simple number, $1 million as kind of top line revenue for a professional services firm. If that company is, let's say, quite heavily owner reliant, meaning that the owner is still a key part of sales, marketing, maybe even delivery, and then compare and contrast that to a company that is doing $1 million, again, top line, just to make it simple. They have recurring revenue in their business. They have less concentration, so a more diversified kind of portfolio of clients, not relying too heavily on any given client. And the business owner themselves is involved, but not so heavily. They're able to step out for a couple of weeks at a time. What are the different kinds of multiples that somebody might expect in the world of kind of a consulting business, professional services, for those two different situations? And I know it's hard because there's lots of cases, but just a range so people have an idea.
Yeah. And like you said, I mean, it's really almost impossible to answer the question because there's so much more you have to know, but
Sure.
let's throw something at it, right? If you've got a business where it's not self-managed, I mean, you could get something as low as a 1 to a 3 multiple. Whereas you have a self-managed business, it's not reliant on you, there's recurring revenue, that multiple could be a 3 to a 5.
Right.
And now, what's the multiple against? The multiple is against what we call adjusted EBITDA, which is EBITDA when you add back owner benefits, discretionary expenses, things that the owner is getting that won't be expenses in the business if they were to sell it. So we call that adjusted EBITDA. So you're multiplying against that. But that's a dramatic difference, right? You talk about a 1 to 3 versus a 3 to a 5.
Sure.
Could mean meaningful difference on a purchase price and a sale.
Yeah. And what about the